what we wanted to do today is give you an update of where we are with NAMTech. You have myself, Brett Christ, and Roger Wilbur. Brett is gonna be replacing me actually in about 3 days as the chair of the North American Education Commission, and Roger, as you all know, is the chair of AO Trauma North America. This is the agenda for tonight, and our thought process was that we were going to discuss where AO North America is in terms of education with the whole COVID pandemic. At this point in time, just to give everyone an update, what has happened is since the last course was in San Diego, and that was a basic course, and it was the first week of March, and since then everything has been canceled. All live events have been canceled up until the end of October at this point. Some of it has to do with DPS and what they can and can't do. We don't know at this point exactly what's going to occur and what's going to open up. And if you read the news today, I guess the world's coming to an end again. So we really don't have much to say about that, but that is we're planning like things may open up. But I wanted to give you an update. Brett and I and Roger wanted to give you an update of what's actually been occurring behind the scenes and what we've been doing. We have not been stagnant, and we use this time to, this unique time, to try to accelerate our virtual and online footprint. The first thing I want to talk about is osteotomies of the lower extremity deformity and non-union. This was a course that we did virtually. The inspiration for this course was Brett came up with the idea to have this course, and the inspiration of course was Jeff Mast, who most of you know recently passed away. And we thought that these were some techniques that we didn't want lost. It had been scheduled as a live event in Las Vegas, and we quickly turned it into the osteotomy course. This was the stellar faculty we have. Every one of these people here really performed and performed well, much better. No, I wouldn't say better, but up to my expectations of how they would, and they all really did a phenomenal job. This is what it was called, and just to show you, sorry, just give me a second. This is a picture of the email that would come out twice a week. It would come out. It would look like it was from Brett Christ, talking about the osteotomy weekly. This was the reminder. We had it every Thursday and Saturday. There was always a little bit about what we were going to do. There was a little bit of a vignette typically that would go to it, that would be in there with it. Like, how would you manage this infected open tibia fracture? Tried to give people little tidbits. Brett was the moderator, and then the upcoming sessions as well. And so that went out every week, and this was the course. Our plan at the time was to do it for 10 Saturdays. It was done at 11 a.m. Eastern for 90 minutes with a live online event. And then we put the recordings available on the AO Trauma North America YouTube channel, as well as come out on Zoom. Every Thursday, we had 9 sessions, and this was at 8 p.m., and this was an Ask the Expert session. We gave homework to be done, such as here, pre-op plan this, and we let them use Bone Setter, as well as, I can't remember the name of the other software that we introduced right now. I'm sorry about that.
Medicad.
And we would give them homework, and we were surprised. We would get Raul Vedia would look, and he would have 200 saved plans, deformity planning, etc. We asked people to present your cases. That didn't go as well as planned, but we did have some, and ask questions and catch up on if you missed anything on the live event. And then we had planned an in-person event that's supposed to be November 13th and 14th in Las Vegas for the practical exercises, including the cadaver. So we were trying to create a hybrid course with a little bit of both. The learning opportunities for everybody was there were short lectures on Saturday, typically between 3 and 4, and then a discussion group with cases and an expert panel where people were able to ask questions through question and answer and through chat, as you can do tonight. On Thursdays, we had a review of Saturday. Again, the ability to ask questions, case discussion, and then review of homework. In addition to these Saturday short lectures, we also had planned on 4 discussion groups. The first one, we did run as a discussion group. Probably our discussion groups were a little large and we switched to different types of expert panels. The one that seemed to work the best was where we had our faculty present a case that they had done, try to get into their head, and the other experts on the panel would then try to question them and try to give them other answers. I think it worked very well and most of the people did as well. Everything was recorded and so there was the ability to catch up. It did come out from Zoom, but in addition, we placed it up on YouTube, and I'm going to show you more about our YouTube channel. The current status is that we just finished part 1, which was the knowledge. It ran from April 18th over 10 weeks to June 20th. We had at one time, this is just some interesting facts that we're looking at, 905 unique email addresses attended 1 or more sessions. So we had 905 people at some point actually physically attend our course. And we had 1,505 people that registered for 1 or more sessions. So not bad. And it was from all over the world, from all of the different regions. The highest in a single session that actually attended, not registered, was 464 people attended the periarticular knee lecture that was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, May 30th. And we're currently planning the live event that's going to be on November 13th and 14th at the Oquendo Center. For those of you that have been there, they have a new portion of Oquendo, which I think we're going to be using. We're really planning on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning, 1 full day of a practical exercise, cadaveric osteotomy, synthetic bone planning, 2-to-1. So it'll be Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. Here's Brett crossing his fingers to hope that we can have this. Next steps are, we're going to publish some of this stuff of what did we learn, some of the stuff with the emails, how many newly acquired, how many people attended, and just give people some feedback of what we did. Next, I want to get into the advanced and basic course. Our typical advanced and basic course, as all of you know, composed of lectures, small group discussions, and practicals. We have now gone to an online course that we're working on, basic principles and advanced principles, that is going to be called Essentials. And it's going to be lectures, touch surgery modules, and we're going to train the know and know how in hopes that we can have a basic and advanced principles face-to-face course that will include the practicals. So at this point, this is where we are with our basic essentials of fracture management. It'll be September 25th through November 13th. Here's our course chairs, which are Chad Coles, Jillian Souls, and Paul Gladden. And they are all going to also function as module leaders, and the rest of the people you see here who are module leaders at this point. And we're assigning faculty, and Chad, Jillian, and Paul are running this under the direction of NAMTech. The vision is that it's an 8-week online course with asynchronous modules and synchronous modules. So there'll be 8 modules, and the asynchronous portion is to look at the lectures that will be pre-recorded, skills lab videos and touch surgery modules. And then every Friday, we may change the date, but currently every Friday there'll be a Friday fireside where we'll have moderation of the lectures that have occurred with some cases that then can have people ask questions. There'll be also 3 case discussion groups. Here's our current layout for the 8 principles, the 8 modules, and this is just list the Friday where they need to have their work completed by, so that they can join in the next portion of the course. And on 3 of these, in addition to the moderation of the previous module, they will have that will be shortened down, and we'll have the case discussion groups. We're going to be kind of aggressive here, and we're targeting 200 participants. There's 8 moderators, which you saw. There's 40 lectures that will take 40 faculty. And so we have 20 discussion groups that also needs 40 faculty. What I do want to say is we're probably not going to have the same 40 faculty do all of the discussion groups. And so there's going to be a lot of opportunity that we're going to rely on all of you to help us be faculty for all of this course. We don't really need to have the same people do the same thing. So this actually opens up one of the issues that we've had in the past, is opportunity for people to be faculty. I'm just giving you this as an example of one of what the modules look like. So the required time is 70 minutes prior to the prior to the Friday, where we have the introduction, and then we have several lectures, and then the skills labs are assigned, and fracture healing is assigned, and touch surgery is assigned, and we want people to do this as well. And then come Friday, there'll be a 45-minute fireside, which is a question and answer and module summary and cases. And so this is what each week looks like. They all take between 60 to 70 minutes of time. I think a resident has that during the week. And then every Friday, they will then cement those concepts down so that we will have deadlines for people to meet. There is an ongoing course you may have heard about. Some of your residents have been invited, that AO Trauma from the foundation is running. This is a purely asynchronous, purely canned lecture that even the chats are asynchronous via a chat group. It's getting a slow start, but they wanted to get something up and running to fit some needs. And they have 100 people that they're running this with. And I can give you an update on it in the future. In addition to this, we're working on the Advanced Principles course. Matt Camuso and Hobie Summers are the 2 chairs of that. And there'll be, these are the moderators, some of the moderators that have been selected already. And again, they're working on assigning faculty as well. This course is not as far down the road as the basic course. Here was the vision. We are going to be running this course in Davos. I'll give you a little bit of what's going on there. And basically, it's the knowledge part of the Advanced Principles course that has lectures, moderator-led discussions, live question and answer, and 5 discussion groups that are new cases that we're trying to roll out. And then we're going to try to do some of the practical part by using touch surgery, as well as having them view our, what I would consider very well done practical videos. It will not, again, replace the face-to-face. It will serve as a foundation for a blended Advanced Principles course. We're trying to work on getting a pilot run over probably a 4-week session in October and November, 4 to 5-week session in October and November, but it will be presented in Davos as a live course. And again, there's other uses that we could do for it. These are the objectives. They haven't changed from the advanced course. They're exactly what they were before. Here are the 10 modules, and here are the 5 discussion groups. I have asynchronous, synchronous, because in Davos, what's going to happen is they're going to run it probably by region. And so part of it will be synchronous and part of it will be asynchronous. For the live events in general, it may be possible to have multiple live events over the course of a week. A lot of this is depending on what social distancing is doing, what DPS is allowed to do, how many people we're allowed to have in a room at once. And so we'll keep an eye on this. The good part about this is finally we can focus on skills training and not just rush through the exercise to try to get it done so we can move on. Maybe we need, when their basic course is doing an ankle fracture, we might not have enough time. So we might be able to lengthen some of the time so we can really focus on training the appropriate skill that we want to train. We'll probably need to have some discussion group, part of the lab, part of the practical, so that people can refocus on the previously learned material, since they'll be separated in time for this. We're also planning an essentials pelvic and acetabular fracture management course. This is starting in just 2 weeks from now. Dave Stephen is the course director, and Mark Riley and Steve Sims are the chairs of this. They are in the process of picking moderators and faculty, and I think they're well down the path to all of this and going to begin. This is going to be similar to the osteotomy course in that it's not going to have pre-recorded sessions. People are going to give their lectures. We will record them, and they will put these up on YouTube as well. A little bit about Davos. Davos, for the most part, will still go on, but in a totally different fashion. They've reduced it all from December 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. December 3rd is going to be the pre-course, and 4, 5, 6 is going to be the course. And they're running all of the courses for all of the clinical divisions at the same time. And as opposed to spanning over 2 weeks, it'll span right in the middle. No change for the face-to-face basic course for the Swiss or the German masters. Upper one, lower one, and pelvic will be run what they're calling as a hybrid. This is not the typical hybrid. This is going to be, some people will be doing it as a online event, and some of it will be doing it as a live face-to-face event, and we'll have the normal practicals and have the normal lectures as normal, but some people will just be viewing the whole thing online. And then the majority of the courses are online only, which will be run just as you hear now. Some will have pre-recorded stuff, some won't, depending on exactly what goes on with each of these. This is the way they will center it around. So they'll all be centered around this core time, which you can see here in the middle. We have to try to we have to work on a time when everyone is available. And so between 6 and 9 in Chicago is 1 o'clock in 9 p.m. in China. And so you can see this course core time. There are other live opportunities depending on region and time zone. And so the online courses, as you can see here, will be run right here, here, and here to try to use this time when all the places are available, but face-to-face time can vary, especially in Davos, because it won't be run concurrently. And then what we'll probably try to do is run some things based on region and what people want. So this is the new Davos. Some of you may have heard about it, some of you may not have. But I just wanted to give you a quick update. The last thing I just want to talk about is our digital assets. I have listed everything from YouTube on our digital assets on my AO. We've been using Zoom as our platform, and Zoom does have a recording that comes out at 24 hours afterwards. And finally, we've been using YouTube extensively for our course. This is the AO North America, AO Trauma North America YouTube channel, which is different than the AO North America YouTube channel. And I just want to show you how this is arranged. So this is the AO Trauma North America YouTube channel. You can see it says AO Trauma as opposed to the one that says AO North America, and that is a different channel. So if I go back to the AO Trauma North America website, AO Trauma North America YouTube channel, you can see here, if I go to playlists and click on this, here you can see our osteotomy course right here. So the entire osteotomy course has its playlist here. These are all of the lectures that we've done. And they're broken down by week, by module. They're even broken down at the individual lecture. So if we look here, if I look here, one of the weeks, here's osteotomy week 2, and it's an hour and 34-minute lecture. This is the entire 4 lectures, but we did break out each of the individual lecturers by the week and by the person, so that if somebody just wants to review that part, they can. Okay. In addition, if I go back and I go to just the other thing that's here are the other person that's here. The other thing that's here is our surgical approaches. This is from the cadaver course and the fellows course. These are all here. There's a journal club on pelvic ring series. There's also a mentor-mentee series that Raul Vaidya has put together where people are talking to mentors. And we can just look at the playlist. This is an interview with Keith Mayo. And that was done, I forget by who, but we're going to build on this where a faculty member may interview someone. We're working on these journal clubs as well. This is one all done on pelvic ring that Raul put together with all of these people. And there's a corresponding lecture here. In addition to that, there's another journal club that we're going to start extending more, where it was a classic article as questions asked to Steve by one of Steve's articles, and so on one of Steve's article. So we're really trying to use this YouTube channel to really boost everything we're doing in AO Trauma North America. We're going to have the one for the pelvic course come up soon, and it will have the full course, and you could actually take the course on YouTube fairly easily. Sorry, let me get back to my presentation. Here we go. Sorry about that. This is just some statistics that I quickly pulled off of YouTube. See, here's Osteotomy Week 1. It has 1,500 views already. And then I just want to show you in the last 28 days, this is how many views we have, how much watch time, and how many new subscribers we have. This is our last year on the AO Trauma North America YouTube channel. And you can see here just a bunch of little blips, which is irrelevant because basically there were no hits. This spike here was right at February. This was right after we announced that we were trying to do the cadaver videos, and we posted them, and we had a nice spike, and then we didn't have much new content, and the advertising may not have been great. And this is all the osteotomy course. To that point, this is the osteotomy course. If we look at the date stamp here, this is April 18th, which is the first date of our course, to June 21st. You can see that we've had, we're improving. Are we great like some of the other things? No, but I think that what this shows is as we create new content and as we continue to put good content up, we will be able to continue having our site grow. So with that, I'd like to ask Brett or Roger if they have anything they want to say.
I think there were a few questions that some of the folks that are on, Dave Hack and Chitra both raised their hand. I'm not sure if they can say anything, but Dave, if you have a question, if you could type it into the question and answer component or the chat component. And then a couple people asked about what touch surgery is. You can, basically it's an app that was developed in part by the AO with a company. I think it's out of the UK, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically it goes through the step-by-step parts of different surgeries. And it's not just orthopedics, but they've developed practical exercises, and they're continuing to work on that, I think, for the advanced. I think the basic's done, right, Michael? The basic is a one-to-one match for each of the required practicals, and so is the advanced course. They've done the last two modules were being developed about a year ago, so I believe that those are all done at this point. And Finkmeyer just put the link to the website in the chat box, or Roger did, sorry. The other thing was the question about does the essentials basic like qualify people to move on to the advanced or become faculty? And my understanding, based on what the Foundation Trauma Education Commission said, is that it does not, but it allows them to get either like a financial credit to go to a in-person principles course, or they're trying to kind of figure out exactly what they have to complete. So, because it won't be like the practical component. Is that correct, Michael? Yeah, so I think a little bit of this is to be determined, right? If for some reason something changes and we can't get
to do practicals, I think that we may have to change it. But the plan right now is if you do this at X percentage, then you will be able to go to the live event and go to the practical based course, and then it'll count. As of this point, the plan is to not count it totally as a basic course without the practicals, because as most of you are aware, the practical and the hands-on is probably some of the most important parts, along with the discussion groups that we do for our basic and our advanced courses. Other questions?
Is Mark Lee still on? Somebody's asking if he's left.
I think Dave and Chitra both have access now to their microphones if they want to ask
Okay.
This is Dave. I typed in my question. How are you monitoring resident attendance, and what percentage attendance are you requiring? And then I initiated with great work. You've done a great job, and keep up the good work.
At this point, we're going to use Totera, which is a learning management system. Chitra assures me that Totera will be up and running, and so that we can see what every resident has done or not done. We have not decided at this point. It's still TBA or to be determined how much exactly we will require people to go for it to count as completing the basic essentials. It's a good question. We don't know, but we'll be figuring that out shortly.
The other question was about the CME, like people who don't view the live event, and it sounds like that won't be possible until the learning management system is on board, which is the Totera, correct?
Yeah, and so we haven't fully worked out all of the CME, I think, using Totera, since it's mostly going to be the basic and the advanced course in Totera, at least to start with the first time. I'm not sure that CME is that important, but we will figure it out. And yeah, once we have, as far as I understand it, I don't know if Chitra wants to say something, but as far as I understand it, once Totera is up, we can monitor everything that's completed, even have an assessment, which we may have, which we're planning on maybe and considering doing for the basic and the advanced course. We could do an assessment, and then I think we can give CME, but something that fully needs to be worked out. The purpose of tonight was to just give you all an update, to think that we haven't been sitting around waiting for everybody else to do things.
And then after October, for now, it sounds like the courses are still, like for 2021, the courses are still moving as planned, and obviously that can change. That was one of the other questions as far as after October, is it still planning on happening for those courses?
At this point, they haven't been canceled. That's the best I can answer. A lot of it is dependent on what DPS will allow us to do. So certainly their DPS, as far as I know, is talking about a phase-in. I don't know what that means, but maybe not going to 120 or 150 participants like people like a basic course to 120 like an advanced course. So I can't give you an answer. We don't have a crystal ball. I wish I could. We are planning, though, we are actively planning and hoping to do the osteotomy course live event in Las Vegas in the second week of November. So we hope we can do that. You saw Brett crossing his fingers on the slide. And so we hope that's going to occur. And we are planning some other live events that may not need DPS.
And then Dave Olgus asked if the AO Smart system could be used to augment the principals course.
Maybe. I haven't thought about it yet, so I don't have a good answer for that.
Oh, that's another good question. Regarding faculty and maybe Chitra, or any thoughts as far as how to move forward with coaching or any of the faculty development components, like regarding live events?
Yeah, so Brett, as far as faculty development goes, as the courses are being canceled, the faculty development sessions associated with those months and those courses are also being canceled. We are currently looking at potentially in November, if we're able to do the live events, we would love to have one FEP there, but there's no guarantee. But definitely we're moving along with all of our plans for next year.
They are, right now, Miriam, whom a lot of you know, they are working right now on a course for faculty on how to teach virtual and online stuff. Some of it will probably be what we've learned in North America. I think we are a little ahead in some respects in that we don't know of another, at least an AO. There has not been, to our knowledge, another AO online course or even another orthopedic course that really spanned 19 different sessions that were all on one course with a plan to have a live event. And so we did, all of our faculty, all of our moderators, Brett and myself both learned quite a bit about what we think makes it more effective. Roger, you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything additionally. I've just been trying to answer some questions online here, but
Thank you.
one of the questions was really about CME and what we're going to do with CME, and what the decision is going to be and what kind of online assessments we're going to try to create for all of this.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's a big question and an excellent question. We did have online CME for the osteotomy course. You could get 90 minutes on Saturday and 60 minutes on Thursday. But you had to be at the live event and attend the live event because we have no real way to monitor. We are talking about no way to monitor if you watched it on YouTube. We are talking about assessments for some of these courses, ways to prove that, and we're going to look more into that. Like I said, we're very early in the development of all of this stuff at this point. And to that point, there's going to be a lot more opportunities for everybody to participate in not the classic way of doing a face-to-face event as faculty, but the reason we really wanted to have this is to let you know that we have a lot of work to do and we have a lot of work that different people can do. And so it takes a lot of time to do these. If you have to be on every single week, it takes a lot. So we're really looking forward to actually expanding our offerings to all of you to help us do what we envision and what you envision as being really what we're shooting for, is to be the leaders of AO on online education based on what we're trying to do. And we're going to need your help for sure.
There's a, go ahead.
Sorry, Brett, Michael, if I could talk about CME a little bit. So we will be offering CME for sure. And when Totera is up and running, you will be able to access the online content, attend any live events you need to, and then complete the assessments and the survey and get your certificate all in one system. You could also go in later on to do a transcript search, look at how many CMEs you have. You can download a report if you need to submit that. So all of that we are trying to set up in Totera. How we get the CMEs and what we offer really depends on how we design the course and which component part of the course you want to actually give CME. So you could break down the course to be for live event, we could have a certain amount of CME, and for online, we could have it, and people could have the choice of whatever they want to take. So I think like Michael said, there's so much flexibility, but we are working through use cases now to set it up the right way so everything is possible within Totera.
Yeah. So Steve Sims just pointed out that if you did your eval after the live event, you could get CME, and that worked fine. But this will, what Chitra's talking about, will allow people to catch up if they don't participate in the live event, if they complete and then do the assessment. There was a question about what's going on in other regions by Rick. I didn't know if someone answered it, but most of what's going on online in other regions are mostly webinars. There's lots of webinars that AO is putting on. There's probably, I don't know, multiple ones every week. In the last NAMTech meeting, no one is pushing for YouTube per se. Everything is available, I hope, in my AO as well. It's a little harder to search. We in North America chose YouTube for a variety of reasons. For me, it was because it's the #1 searched place that people go looking for video. Our thought process in NAMTech was that if we create really good content and only put good content on our YouTube web channel, if people want to go and search for anything, they'll just come to the YouTube, the AO North America, AO Trauma North America YouTube channel, look for it there first, instead of, we get everybody gets ViewMedi and gets other things sent to them all the time. Quality is sometimes great, sometimes it's not so great, and sometimes it's terrible. We only want to try to put quality up on our YouTube channel.
There still is an issue too. Eventually we have to figure out some way to monetize this. I know, and the foundation has pushed a little bit for us to, charge for content that we create, even though this is somewhat experimental. And our overall approach to this is that we're just kind of figuring this out. There's no way to charge for it, but anything that goes on YouTube can't really be charged for. So we're still sort of sorting all that out.
Then Nascone has a question to get this info to the prospective participants, residencies, and fellowships. So basically, what is the plan for marketing the courses, I guess? So Michael did send out email to the residency directors about the opportunity for the basic essentials. But Michael, do you want to, or Chitra, do you want to talk to?
Well, I mean, I sent an email. We sent an email out to all of the residency directors, or a letter to all of the residency directors that we sent out from NAMTech under our cover, and explaining to them that we were in the process of developing an advanced and a basic course, because I think, look at the number of 120 times, what do we have? 8 basic courses a year. That's 960 residents that take our course a year. And I think that a lot of programs look to AO to give that education and that knowledge base to their residents. And we let them know that we were developing it. This week we'll be sending out, this week or next week when we have a little more. We were waiting for the dates before we wanted to for the basic. And so we will be sending out invitations to the basic course. And so we'll do what we can do to advertise to them. I don't think we'll have a big problem filling 200 slots, but I could be wrong. I think I think the challenge for the basic course is really that we need to make sure we have 40 faculty members that are available to do these discussion groups live. And so all of us are active trauma surgeons, and we never know what's going to happen. And so we probably need to have 50 people ready to go every, 3 Saturdays, that we have some backup and alternates. And so that's 150 of all of you that we're going to go to try to help us and be faculty for courses, because I think I would say the number one complaint I've heard in the last 3 years is I haven't taught it enough courses. And so this was something that we can hopefully fix now with this. Not to mention there's other opportunities. We're trying to curate online content. JMO On and Jillian Souls are heading that up, and you'll see some emails going out. So there's going to be a lot of things that go out to all of you and all of the faculty. We have 700 faculty. There now will be plenty of work for everyone to do so that we can create really good content.
Did that go out to the Canadian program directors as well? I thought it did, but I just wanted to ask.
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I would have to ask our people. I didn't send it out. It was sent out by AO.
Dave Hack asked a question about, are we able to get people caught up on the practicals in their home program so they don't have to travel, maybe, shipping sets out to them, or how we could possibly do this. The one answer to that is that logistically, this is a nightmare if we try to get DPS and Joel to send out, these sets to every one of the programs. There has been some discussion about how we could possibly do this using the sets at people's individual programs. We haven't figured anything out yet. So if people have a clever idea as to how to do that, that would be helpful.
I think that's a great point, Roger. We did even talk about, we did talk about having, maybe 5 or 6 satellites throughout the country that may be closer to the home programs, one in New York, one in Texas, one in California, or 2 in California, one in Chicago, where we could have multiple things go on. But as you heard Roger say, it can be a logistical nightmare. The other problem, and what we could do is if we could do something like that, and we could look to do that, we could run the practicals virtually, synchronously, and all the things so that everybody's being taught the same thing. The biggest problem I have, or the biggest problem the Education Commission is going to have with people doing their own practicals with their own faculty is it's not necessarily the same product as what we're trying to make a standard product, and we can't assure that somebody we'll skip that part, we won't do this part. So we're looking at it, we're thinking about it, and as Roger said, if you have a brilliant idea, please send it to us. We're also looking at being able to do some of the basic skills with just a home drill and some PVC piping. We may be able to do something with that, but we're still working on all of those things. So any idea you have, please feel free to send it to myself, Brett. We'll leave Roger out of it since he's just the boss of AO Trauma for now. But you could send it to him as well, and we'll definitely, anything we're sent as an idea, we will definitely think about and consider, because we don't know any more than you guys do, and you're all smart people.
Marcus said that it has not gone out to the Canadian program directors. He looked at his email, so we probably ought to make sure.
Okay.
Folks
The letter I sent would have been received about 6 weeks ago. So I don't, if he hasn't seen it, that's fine. If Marku hasn't seen it, then they didn't get it, but it would have went out from Namtech between 4 and 6 weeks ago. We might have an issue getting that. And so maybe we'll ask Marku or somebody else, Dave Stephen or Terry or somebody, if they can help us maybe get all the residency programs in Canada, so that we have that email list, because maybe we just didn't have the email list.
Apparently Chip tried to organize a couple of labs for that ortho boot camp, the 2021, found that it wasn't possible. I imagine that was probably a logistical issue.
You mean a virtual boot camp?
Yeah, they're doing their online boot camp this year, and so they were going to try to organize labs for that. But I think DPS probably, Chip, maybe you can type it and explain a little bit better. But probably DPS logistically could not support that for the number of individuals coming.
Yeah, I talked to Joel. We can see what Chip says, but I talked to Joel about that exact idea. And the first thing is it's, as you said, a logistical nightmare if they have to ship it for, more than 1 or 2 places. And the second thing is right now, DPS is not really allowed to do much of anything, at least till the end of October, and it may extend longer than that. And if they do allow it, it may be just a couple people at a time. So
Eric has asked about people being notified about the basic and advanced online courses. I would definitely, he said he's going to check with his tomorrow, but definitely ask yours, because they should have.
No, let me be clear. We have not sent the invitation out yet to let anybody know we're having a basic and an advanced course, or the dates, and there's no registration yet. Well, only thing that has gone out that I'm aware of from us is telling them that there will be something coming and that we've canceled courses, but we're working on getting them a substitute and a replacement. So nobody has information. This is the first anybody's really hearing in other than Namtech that this has been planned, that we're working on it. And so we will get this out. Give me a week or two to get this out to all of the residency directors. I saw that, I think Marcus said that he has that information for us. And so that'll help us for Canada. And we will really do a very good job, I hope, of getting the information out to all of the residency programs.
And just Greg Osgood had a question or more of a comment as we kind of figure out what this is going to look like for the principals courses. If there's a way for a group of residents to do the course together while socially distancing and get credit for the group rather than, if you sign up with one email or whatever, I would expect that individuals would have to sign up and they would just have to try to get together to watch it together. But we'd have to have their individual emails, individual registrations.
I think that's the only way Totera can work.
Yeah, the faculty development about doing remote learning is in Bharat asked or commented that he agrees that we should help train people to do remote learning. And so I think they're going to start working on that next week is what the foundation said. So hopefully over the next several weeks, we'll have some more information for you.
Yeah, the problem is the expertise in this field is limited.
Chip answered back and he said that it looked like it was basically a logistical issue with the local reps and with the programs coordinating space. So I think it's basically just a logistical nightmare for trying to set up labs locally and to run them at a distance.
Okay.
Looks like we answered all the questions.
Yeah. So why don't we plan on an update at the end of the summer? We'll do the same thing. I apologize to everyone. We were trying to get this plans to get everybody the information. We had a couple of missteps about the email I sent out. I forgot to put the link on it and the time. I thought that people had seen the link and the time earlier. So I apologize for that. We'll do better. We're learning as much as all of you are about how to inform people, et cetera, and we're not perfect. And so we'll continue trying and we'll continue trying to improve to give you the information you need. You can always shoot me an email. The one thing I would like everybody on this call to do and ask all of your residents to do and all of your fellows to do is to go to the AO Trauma YouTube channel, AO Trauma North America YouTube channel. You can get there by just searching AO Trauma North America on the YouTube homepage, and then subscribe to it and like it and do all those things. I know I sound like a millennial, but the reality is that the more likes we get, the more subscribers we have, the more hits we're going to get on our site, and the more we could push it higher so that the education that we have there becomes more available. Because right now, if you just search, something, it doesn't come up through YouTube. If I want to search surgical approach to the pelvis, and I want to see Mark Riley do a Gibson approach from start to finish, it's one of the best approaches. I haven't seen a better online version, but if you search that, it doesn't come up because we just don't have enough traffic there. I'm happy with 10,000 hits in the last 3 months, but I want to see 100,000 hits over the next 3 months. And so get your residents to subscribe. When you guys are doing a case and they say, hey, is there a good resource for this, a surgical approach for tomorrow? Just say, yeah, go to AO Trauma North America. It will really, really help a lot for AO Trauma North America. And I'd like to see you all do that if you don't mind. There's a thing here that's asked me to send out instructions. I've done that. I will do it again. I sent it out about in February when we launched it with the video. I will try to get together another one with the URLs attached directly in the document so you can just forward to your residency and your partners. It's a good idea, Brian. Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everybody.